welcome back, guys. We had to debut our new intro. So, welcome back to the Foundry. This week, we're gonna be talking. Hopefully, we want to. The idea is we get a chance to come on here and nerd out about business and marketing stuff, right? But the real intent is we want to deliver high value for you guys, and give you some insights onto how to grow and expand your business. And if you're looking to grow and expand your business, or if you're looking to get started and you want to get your business forged the right way, join the Foundry School community. Because that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. We're going to both be in there, and you get to have marketing consultants at a fraction of what our normal rates would be. And the benefit for us is we get to help more people. Um, and also build let's be transparent. It also gives us access to more clients if they need solo work, if they want to work one-on-one. That gives us an opportunity to be able to do that. And we can build the trust and show value, and at the same time of you guys participating and getting something from the community. And so that's really what the goal is. Yep. So I'm Brian.
And I'm Brian as well.
All
Join
right.
the Foundry. I'm going to double down on what you just said because I want to get that point across real quick. And it is that we understand that as small business owners, as new or not not been an entrepreneur for too long, or you're struggling to get a business started off the ground for over the years, or whatever the case may be, right? Um, we found that you don't always have you know the extreme budget to hire someone like me or Brian on that fractional CMO level, right? Where it's $5,000 a month, right?
Right.
So we had to develop a product or a system or some sort of service that we could give to people that can, could afford. And that doesn't mean it's cheap. It is not cheap in the sense of the value, but it's way more affordable as an option for small business owners to get in there and really get some value and level up your business.
Mhm.
One, I just had a client I worked with made one small tweak, right? One tiny tweak to their system in their business of how they present a product to a customer, and it 10 times the revenue for that month, right? And those are the type of things that I can help people with, and Brian can help people with, and the community can help people with. One tiny thing can change your business and change your life. That's kind of where I want to take it, and that's what makes the Foundry so powerful. Um, so sorry to go on a little rant there, but
Yeah, that's
that
fine.
I truly believe in that. I truly believe in groupthink and power of the minds together. I believe in that stuff. So join the Foundry,
Yeah.
and then sorry, I'm Brian, 531 Labs.
And like I said, I'm Brian with I Sell Words. And so today we're going to talk about how to stop selling features and start selling relief. And as marketers, believe it or not, we're marketers struggle most with this. Because we actually know the anatomy of a marketing campaign and what to do here and how to phrase this here and what this squeeze page does and the function of this, that, and the third. And a lot of times when we present stuff to our clients, we really get into the features, the feature side of things, as opposed to what the end result is. And so it wanted to do this episode so that we can spend a little bit of time talking about why you should stop selling features and actually focus on the transformation. Right. And here's the thing: people don't buy features; they buy that peace of mind, they buy the convenience, they buy time back, they buy being able to fit in the swimsuit, they buy a great meal. They don't necessarily care how it gets there; they just want the transformation when it comes. Okay. And so they're not buying your process or dashboard or anything else. They're buying transformation, they're buying relief. Right. And I think a lot of times we end up spending so much time talking about how great how we have created this amazing new product and all the how much it's going to benefit and blah blah blah. We're not talking about, and this is what the benefit does to your life. So and maybe Brian can expand a little bit on that. You
I
know,
think we're kind of talking about it off camera a little bit too, where it's like most business owners are married to their product or service,
mhm,
and they take too much. They lean too much into that, right? And a lot of times, customers, and I'm going to be frank here, don't give a shit.
yeah,
What's
they
it do?
don't care,
What's it do for me?
right?
And that's kind of where I've developed a new service line for 531 Labs that ticks those marks, and it's more about giving relief and bandwidth back to the business owner rather than trying to sell them a, you know, I don't know, a whole marketing retainer for 18 months that costs them, you know, six figures or whatever. Like it's a whole different spectrum for these for a lot of business owners and a lot of entrepreneurs in this space that we're in this space we're talking about, which is small business owners and entrepreneurs that
Mhm,
don't have a corporate budget, right? That's reality. It's not about we're selling something cheap. We're selling something that's not for the corporate budget. It's for the individual or the small business owner with a small subset of employees, right?
right.
They don't have the bandwidth or the revenue or um, the margins to afford the marketing they actually need to level up their business. I guess that's the point that we're trying to drive home here, right? Is that they need just a little bit more to level up their business. And
Mhm,
our thought process, Brian alluded to a little bit, is we sell that relief through the foundry, right? And then they can level up and then they can make the revenue and have the margins where they can get back to us to do that next step. These are phases, these are levels in business that we want people to take. And it's not about me selling you on. So here's an example, me selling you an SEO service so you can be number one on Google.
yeah,
That's a feature. That's not a relief. Great, I'm number one. Now what?
yeah. And
You know?
look at it like this. I know Brian's a pizza guy, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
so for you, if I sat there and talked about the type of crust that they used, and they import the water from New York, and they do a lot of other stuff that on the back end is kind of what defines, this high quality pizza, right? Versus my kid and sitting there and explaining
Hmm.
to him, well, hey bud, yeah, they crush they get the specialty tomatoes, and they crush them and they make them in their own thing. And he's looking at me like, is the pizza good or not, dad? Like, is
Yeah.
that, I don't care about all the other stuff. It
Yeah.
does it taste good? And I think a lot of times as business owners, we are so tied to that process that we end up spending so much time in the creation side of it, and how, all the different features and stuff. We don't say, yeah, the pizza tastes great. Like, at the end of the day, does it taste good? Yeah, okay. I don't really care about the imported water and all that other stuff. And I think
Yeah.
um we lose track of the fact that features are only meaningful if the customer understands why they matter, you
Right.
know. And sometimes you are selling to specialists. Sometimes you're selling to people who have a very specialized understanding of the product. But even at the end of the day, they're still aligned with how this product is going to make them money or make their customer process easier and things like that. And so you guys have to have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Even if they are nerds like us, right?
Mhm.
Even if they're like, that's cool. There's no, and they may even buy off that, right? That, like
Mhm.
Brian's saying, it's still easier and more impactful to sell the relief than it is the, you know, the feature. It's
Right.
still going to be easier no matter what way you look at it. If I tell somebody that's a nerd about pizza and say, yeah, the crust is made, 75% hydration, like, oh, okay, you guys know what you're doing. How's it taste?
Right.
You know, forget all that. It's a delicious piece of pizza. So I agree 100%. And it goes into, like, we've talked about this before, where this is a perfect example because I think you have in your notes something about HVAC and filters and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I just read something about this, so this is crazy that this came up. But essentially, you say you do some sort of filter change subscription, right, for your HVAC company, and it's to change a filter. I change my filter, and it takes me two seconds, if that.
Mhm.
Grab the old one, put the new one in, put the other one in the trash. What you're selling to a premium customer that will pay a subscription for that is that they don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
That's the relief. And they are willing to pay for not having to think about it. They're actually not paying for the filter.
Yeah.
They're paying for not having to think about the filter.
They don't care about it. They don't care if that filter. They don't care that filter costs $2, and you can get 20 of them at Home Depot. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't ever want to touch a filter. They don't ever want to think about a filter. They don't even have to look at a filter. They want you
Right.
to come in, install a new filter, dispose of the old one, and book a time for next month. And that's how it goes. And I think a lot of times we get too caught up in thinking about, well, the details of it. Well, I mean, the filter only costs this much money, and that these people don't care about it. If they can afford to pay it, they don't care. And one of the things is, this is a little bit off script, but it is something the business owners need to hear. It's something I need to hear. A lot of times when we're determining the price of services as business owners, we tend to do it out of our own pocketbook. And so we sit down and look at what our monthlies are and what our monthly expenses are and what our fixed costs are and how much, we need to make to stay open. And we end up pricing around that. And, we look at what's expensive relative to what we think is expensive versus what the value actually is for the people on the opposite end of on the buying cycle. And it's an easy thing to do as a business owner because we do value our money, we do value our time and stuff. And
Mhm.
we know the cost of everything in the business. We know the rent, how much it costs to keep the doors open. We are intimately aware of that. And a lot of times when we determine how much we're going to charge clients, we base it off of what our personal biases and experiences are. And that is the benefit of, somebody running, having a chain like a McDonald's and Burger King or whatever. They can be disconnected from that on a larger scale. And then they can pay attention to trends within across all the stores and adjust their pricing accordingly. You know,
Yeah.
and that's something that we have to disconnect from. You have to disconnect from how much does this feel expensive to me
Mhm.
versus is this valuable to them? And that goes back to the filter thing. Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything to acquire the filter, but that's not what they're paying for. They're not paying for
Right.
you to buy a cheap filter.
Right. And I think that's the mentality, and taking it as even going further with this is that sometimes you have to realize that um, maybe if you're really struggling and you feel bad for charging someone because it's so cheap to you,
Mhm,
um, that would be like me saying, well, I'm going to charge less because I have 20 years experience in building a website and I can build it, you know 10 times faster
mhm,
than most people, so I should charge less because I don't spend a lot of time on it. No,
mm-mm,
absolutely not. I will never do that because I'm providing the same value as I was before, or the next guy, and he's charging, 5 times my rate because I decided, well, I just feel bad, you
yeah,
know? And then another aspect is if you're having trouble with it and people are, uh, always saying you're overpriced and blah, 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 this, XYZ, maybe you're hitting the wrong market and you have
yeah,
to level up, right?
yeah,
Um, I struggle with that sometimes because um, I feel as if I can provide help to everyone. And I've figured out ways to mitigate that a little bit by offering different service lines. So
mhm,
that's how I've mitigated that issue.
mhm,
But I haven't stopped with the premium clients, the corporate clients. Um, I'm very choosy who they are now, but uh, yeah, I don't know where I was really going with this. It's just the fact that it it comes down to understanding, like Brian said, understanding that you're providing the value, and you can't feel bad because we've had this topic come up in some groups that we're in, right? Where people feel like, well, I can't charge that. It's a $2 thing, and it
mhm,
takes me 5 minutes to change it. You're not selling the filter and the changing it. That's not what you're selling.
Hmm.
You're selling so this person never has to think about a filter, never has to go to Home Depot, never has to get them on Amazon, never has to think about it. That's what you're selling,
Yeah.
right? So,
You're selling the relief. You're selling the peace of mind. And I think it's understanding that it's not about the filters. They just they're paying to not have to ever think about it again. And for some people, that is worth, that's worth, 60, 80, 100, $120 every single month to never have to think about it. They don't care.
100%.
And
And it's
they may have a lawnmower in their garage. They'll pay somebody to come mow their grass. Like they don't really
Mhm.
care.
At
um,
all.
and you never know what people hate doing. Like I said, I've mentioned this before. I know how to work on cars. I've worked on cars since I was a teenager. I absolutely despise it. It's something I hate. I don't like doing it. And I will pay to not change my oil. I will pay to not have to change my oil. And I
It's
do it all the
for
time.
me, it's painting. You
Yeah.
can find somebody else
Yeah.
because I despise it. And going back to getting on track with
Yeah.
the theme of the episode, because I mean I know this is on track, but a little bit like you have a note here, like a bad message of selling the features versus a good message of selling the relief,
Yeah.
right? So we have a 12-point bad message would be we have a 12-point maintenance plan,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Versus we make sure this is handled so you never have to think about maintenance on your um, unit ever again.
Right. Eh,
What
Yeah.
sounds better?
The
Yeah.
one that I don't want to think about it. Can you tell me a little bit, because I do have it marked here. What about automation? And tell, because that's kind of what your specialty is. That's your wheelhouse, is automating things. And so let's talk about the automation piece real quick, and then we can jump back down.
Versus of selling or
Yeah, because it's right by the HVAC stuff. So
oh, okay.
yep,
Okay, gotcha. I see the note now.
yep,
Okay, so I would say I don't know if I'd even call it automation. Whereas, like, if you get stuff like this set up for the premium clients that want to pay for you to change your filters, the automation of it is that it, it's automated income coming in,
yeah,
right? Like that's what you have to think of. And I would urge everybody if your business can stand a model of somehow getting some sort of automated subscription type service to it, please by all means get that going and test it and beta test it and then expand it if it works for you, because
mhm,
that is revenue you can generate without having to worry. It's automated revenue coming in that you can sustain and you know is coming, right?
yep,
And the more you can move to that model, the better, because then through arbitration, people are going to leave. You're going to get new customers. Customers are going to, you know, phase out or whatever,
hmm,
right? Having that kind of automated system lets you do that without worrying about the bills and stuff we talked about last week or a couple weeks ago, where you get in that maintenance mode. You can start leveling out of that, and that should be everybody's goal, in my opinion, is
right,
to start a business, run a business, um, get out of the maintenance mode where you're not worried about the little things, hire the right people, et cetera, phase up, where you're doing less of that stuff, and you can focus on even if you own a restaurant. So let's go back to pizza. Even if you own a pizza restaurant and your passion and what you want to do every day is wake up, make the dough, and sling pies in and out of the thing because that's what you love doing.
hmm,
Make it so that's all you do.
yeah. Focus on the it part of the business you like. You build the system to do the other stuff you don't. And
Hundred
so
percent.
that's the automation side of it. It's not about creating the workflow. It's really about making sure that there's fewer drop batons, fewer drop balls, and a little
Mhm.
bit less chaos. It allows you to cut through all the BS and all the other stuff that's churning and focus on what you like to do. And that's the thing that keeps you in business. Like that's the thing that keeps you as the business owner engaged in business. Because if every single day you have to go get up and go do all the parts of the business that you despise, that make you want to crawl into bed and not climb out, um, if that's all you ever do and you don't put a system in place to handle those things, you're not going to be in business for long. And
Yeah.
I think it is figuring out the way so that you can have the stuff that you don't like automated as much as possible or delegated, and you can focus on the parts of the business that you really, really super enjoy. And
I'll give you an
so
example. I'll give you an example of someone that has done this very well, and it's a pizza shop in New Jersey. And I
mhm,
go to New Jersey. It's where a lot of my family's from. Um, my dad was in the Air Force. I'm born and raised here in the Omaha metro area, but um, I go there back there once a year, and this guy remembers me. Old
mhm,
guy. He remembers. Oh, my Nebraska guy, right? And this guy does nothing but cooks pizzas all day. He's got his daughter and his son that kind of run the business. He's delegated it to them, so all he has to do is make pizza and be friendly with people. And and the fact that he remembers me out of the hundreds or thousands of people that come a year, and I come once a year, that it's because he doesn't have to focus on anything else except
mhm.
what he loves, and he's learned to delegate, and it's some of the best pizza I've ever had in the world. And I love that experience, and that matters to people. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but it matters to people when a business owner loves what they do every single day, and alluding to what you just said, where you're not getting out of bed and you're stressed, and you know, um, you see it, and the
Right.
business thrives. Business has been around for 60 years. The guy's a second generation owner, and it shows, you know.
Well,
And and from what I understand, talking to his son, they do pretty well. You wouldn't know,
mhm.
but that guy is a seven-figure earner,
Wow.
and you would never know because he
Well,
don't. All he does is sling pizza and fish. That's all he does.
the
And
well,
guess
it's
why? Because he delegated everything.
well, and I think it makes the customer experience better. It makes the customer experience more memorable when
Hmm.
you have somebody that's in he truly enjoys what he's doing, and the customers get a sense of that. Whereas opposed to, I've been in the restaurant with the angry restaurant owner. Like, I've
Oh,
literally sat in there. There's a place downtown, a Chinese place downtown, and it was one of those fusion Chinese places. And so you walk in there, and one, it's not. It normally a lot of the Chinese restaurants that me and my wife tend to go to are, it's a family owned operation, and
hmm,
the people and stuff. This was not. Well, this is more of a corporate kind of spot. And
yeah.
the owner operator, whoever the manager was, she was not in a great mood. And you could hear her cussing people out from the kitchen.
Hmm.
And just it was not it made the food was good, but it made the food taste worse, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
No,
And so
100%.
you're dealing with somebody who actually is enjoying what they're doing, and it makes the entire experience better. I have my godparents are from New Jersey. My godfather grew up in the Bronx, and so when I was a kid, the first thing he sent me was my Yankees hat. Like, he
There
sent
you
me a
go.
Yankees hat. But they were in was it Roselle, New Jersey? Went out to visit them a couple of times. Um, you know, but yeah, that's besides the point. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got god sisters and god brothers out in Jersey. Um, I think the idea that when you focus on that piece of business that you actually enjoy, it makes it easier for you to scale up the business because you don't
Hmm.
see more customers as a barrier to your growth. You see it as doing more of what you like to do. And
100%.
I feel like that's the goal that we should all strive towards, is finding that way to reach that point. And the way you do it is focus on the features, not focus on the. No, I mean, not focus on the features. Focus on the relief. You can
100%.
focus on your relief in the business and focus on the relief you're selling to your client.
And the reason
And
I think we kind of deviate from like we kind of go off on a tangent to that
Mhm.
customer experience and that passion thing, I think is because when you see those people, when you see those business owners,
Mhm.
when they're talking about their service or product, they're excited and they're not selling features.
Right.
He's not going to sit there and tell that guy doesn't sit and tell me about his imported uh tomatoes or how they make the dough or whatever.
Yeah.
I come in, he says, I'm going to make you the best pizza you've had in a year. 'cause I
Right.
see him annually. So he says that stuff to me. And damned if ain't the best I eat all year,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and it's not, you don't care about, well, you got San Marzano tomatoes and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't matter. It's the experience that makes it taste better. And so, the thing we want to do today, and this is a little piece of homework, um, it's basically we're going to take your service and rewrite one service around the phrase, so you don't have to. Okay. And so me and you, let's kind of figure out how we can take a hypothetical business and tie it around the phrase, so you don't have to.
Okay. On the fly here, off the cuff. Okay.
Yep.
Rewrite one service around the phrase so you don't have to. Well, I mean, I can use me
Yeah.
as an example, right? I could say, um, I'm offering people a marketing support desk, for lack of a better way to call the service right now, uh, to handle minor marketing tasks that people don't have the time for, and I handle those so they don't have to.
Okay. I
I don't
like
know if
that.
that's what you're looking for, but
Yep. The one I have kind of is, I teach business owners how to create their own content and make their own ads and their own social media posts using low cost video equipment like cell phones and things along those lines, so that you don't have to spend a bunch of money on an expensive videographer or expensive overproduced commercial. You know,
yeah,
so you don't have
and
to.
yeah, and I'd say, not to put you on a spot, but um, the studio in a box is your knowledge, 15 years of doing this stuff and packaging all up and doing all the heavy lifting for people, so they don't have to.
Okay, I like that.
You get to go here, set of directions,
Mhm.
so, some training a little bit based off your experience, and they don't have to think about what to buy, what to do, how to light, do it. It's all done for them, so they don't have to, right?
Right. And we sit down and we'll talk and kind of figure out what your needs are and what your goals are and what you want to do. And does this need to be a mobile production? Do you need to be able to just grab this and go? Is this like a sit down place that you're having in your basement? Do you have a place in your business carved out for it? And we sit down and figure out what makes the most sense for what you want to do.
Hmm.
And give you a equipment list, give you a quick audit to kind of see what's going on and figure out where you are versus where you want to be, and some instructions on how to put it together, and then figure out some trainings to teach you how to use your own studio in a box. And so, I've done it for a couple of businesses, and it's been kind of something um, I haven't necessarily overtly sold, but I've keep that's the one that I end up selling consistently, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I've done it for a couple of different businesses, and so we decided to make it formal and formalize
yeah.
it. So if that's something you guys are interested in, I can drop the link in the comments, and we can figure out a way so that we can get together and start talking about it. If that's something you guys are interested in,
100%. So he does all that, wraps it up in a pretty little bow for you, and you can get off doing the get off to the races, doing the content and filming whatever you want to film, and you don't have to think about all that other crap.
right?
Because and I'm gonna use you as an example here. So just going deeper on it, like the thing that I know that hangs up people doing content, this goes for me too, is, oh, I need the camera, and I need the best camera, I need this, I need that. And that always is the first step that hangs people up.
Yep.
So what's nice about what you're doing, the studio in a box type deal, is this is the level you're at. Here is, and this is not a physical box you hand out, but like, it's like, here's a package that has everything you need to get, how you do it. You'll get some training from me, and they never have to think about it.
Yeah.
All they have to do is sit down, record, and from there on, they're good. They're off to the races. And
Yep.
I think that's a beautiful thing. And you can do that for you can kind of do that for anything, I guess, where We provide. Let's go for like a donut shop, right? Let's go. We provide the best donuts in town,
Mhm.
uh, and the best tasting coffee in town. So you can come get it. You don't have to make it yourself. So you don't have to. You
Yeah.
know
Um,
that that's actually a good trigger to use for so you don't have to, or so they don't have to for your customer. That's a good way to sell your product and sell the relief instead of the feature.
well, I mean, and there's a couple of different things. Like if somebody had a service that just went around and they were mobile tires, like they were a mobile car tire service
Hmm.
where they come and change tires, rotate tires and stuff, but they would come to your house and do it. You
I
know,
love that.
they come to your house and do it. They bring their jack, they sit there and they do all the stuff. All you got to do is just pull the car out to wherever to the driveway or to the street, and they do all the stuff. They just need a flat surface to work. They do all the stuff, and then you pay them so you don't have to go sit in a tire shop. Because I've sat in a tire shop and I hate sitting in tire shops. It's the worst
Hmm.
thing in the world. Um, if you need somebody to come patch your tire, that's what they do. They're out there patch your tire.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of times we don't look at the what people do for convenience. People are paying way overpaying for food. Like they're paying 20
Uh,
bucks to have McDonald's brought to their house. Like people will
As
pay for that.
that is diabolical.
Yeah. And like they have a drive through. You could get in your car and drive through. Nope. Deliver it to my house. My son, every time we ask him what he wants for Christmas or his birthday, he wants some DoorDash gift certificate or something so that he can have some poor soul bring him Taco Bell. And I'm sitting there you're paying a premium for have Taco Bell brought to it feels like a punishment to me. Like
Yeah.
it feels like a punishment to pay $25 to have Taco Bell brought to my house. Like I did
Yeah.
something wrong.
Well, it's like I'm on house arrest or something, and
Right.
I can't leave the house. You know.
But he does that. And so, but for him, and a lot of people, they will pay that overage, they'll pay that premium just so that they can have the food that they want brought to their house. And so I think we have to get into that mindset of what are people willing to pay for the convenience, guys? And so the idea is we want to sell the easier life, not the technical process.
Hmm.
I don't care how he doesn't care how the DoorDash person gets the Taco Bell and brings it to, he doesn't care about what car they drive. He doesn't care about where they're coming from or anything like that. He just knows that he goes on the internet, puts in the address, pays them, they bring the food here. And that's
Right.
all he cares about.
That's
Um,
the
and
relief.
yeah, and people pay for that, guys. And I think a lot of times we end up forgetting how simple that is and how basically how easily amused and easily pleased people are with some stuff where you just make one aspect of their life that much easier. So
Yeah.
sell the lighter life and not the technical process, guys.
Yeah. Increase the quality of life.
Yep.
That's and whatever that quality is. I'm not saying getting McDonald's delivered to you is a quality of life thing, but it does people it's less action they got to take.
Yeah.
You
It,
know.
they don't want to
So
get into the thing of drive. I don't. For me, I door dashing and stuff is not for me. Me and my wife are like, nah, we don't want to do that. I
yeah,
don't. And I don't want to. I didn't want to do it during the pandemic. I don't want to do it now.
yeah,
Um, I don't have a problem going and picking it up. Or the only thing I will have delivered is like a pizza, I guess, every once in a while.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that a lot of times we lose sight of that, and it's the simple creature comforts.
yeah.
People pay for those.
Sell the relief, not the feature. You
Yep.
know.
And
As
so
bad as that Taco Bell is going to taste once it gets to your house, more power to you.
yeah, he loves it, man. I used to eat Taco Bell all the time when I was in college.
Oh, 100%.
And I swear to you that they've changed something in the recipe because it does not taste anywhere near what I remember it tasting.
I got an awesome story for you for Taco Bell.
Okay.
So there is a place it's in Texas. I'll look it up for you, but it's in Texas. He was a Taco Bell franchise. since the 60s, since the OG Taco Bell, right? Long time ago, they started changing the recipes. So yes, they changed the recipes.
Okay.
He decided, nope, I'm going to stick with the old stuff. Renamed his place to Taco Hut or something like that. Kept all the same recipes, all the ingredients, and he sells. So you can go in there in Texas and go to this Taco Hut place,
Mhm.
and you will get what you're getting is 1970s Taco Bell food,
Oh, I
like
gotta
the
go try
original recipes, everything.
it.
So yeah, I agree with you. It's not the same. It's not the
It
same even from the 90s when I was in high school and
no,
that's where we hung out.
no, it's not. I don't know how. I I don't know how to wrap my mind around it. I don't know what exactly is different. Well, there's a Taco Hut locally here. Wow. Okay. Um, I don't know if it's the same place,
I don't know if it's called Taco Hut. He renamed it something real similar, like something like that.
but I don't know. Like I said, I tasted. I'm like, this ain't it. This is not what I remember at all. Taco Bell used to have a very distinct taste, and I remember a friend of mine. He's a kid hung out with a guy hung out with it a Mexican guy. He's like, it's not Mexican, it's Taco Bell. He's like, I that's the delineate. That's how I differentiate between the two. And he's like, I like both. I like the traditional stuff my grandma makes, and I'll eat Taco Bell, but Taco Bell is Taco Bell, and it's not Mexican food.
Right,
And
right.
so, but there's something different about it. Every time my son wants Taco Bell, I just look at him like, how? And I'll get curious every once in a while and order something from there just to make sure I'm not losing my mind. And I taste it, and I'm like, this is not the same thing. This is different. This is radically different than what I remember.
Right.
So anyway, we went
It's
far
called
afield.
I just found it real quick. It's called Taco Casa.
Taco Casa. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if your offer creates relief, then say that. Speak it plain. Talk
Yeah.
what transformation it brings to people's lives. How does it make your life easier? Are you tired of doing blah blah blah? Well, call us so you don't have to do blah 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 anymore, and
Right.
make your life easier. That's an easier sell than talking about all the technical benefits and all that other stuff. All the specs and everything. I case in point, I'm shooting all this on a webcam right now, and the webcam has been
Same.
my workhorse. I have more expensive cameras, much more expensive cameras around here. It always comes back to the webcam. The reason why it's easy, I plug it in, webcam works. I can adjust some stuff, frame it the way I want to, and it produces the video that I want to see. And
I
I think
agree. And Brian helped me with this specifically where so I was shooting on more expensive stuff, a DSLR, and then I was shooting on the Osmo Pocket, and I was having issues, and it caused me issues, and it was frustration, it was stressful, and he knows like I've been putting off creating video because of it, and yada yada, and I ended up buying a nicer webcam and plugging it right in, and I'm off to the races. I don't have to think about it anymore. There's no delay. I don't have to. It just works.
right, make your
And
life easier.
that's how it was sold to me, and that's how it works.
Right.
It was a relief to me. I don't think about it now.
I actually, and this is the last thing I'm actually considering, because with when I launch the physical studio of small cameras and camcorders, like
Mhm.
small cameras, aftermarket camcorders, where I emphasize that's what we use. It's not the highest and best and brightest stuff. It is stuff that you can find on the cheap and deploy to make the video content that you dream of.
Yeah, because what's the
Because there's
purpose, right?
right,
What's the purpose? It's to create the damn content.
right. So make it easy on yourself. I have this old camcorder here. I bought this a couple years ago for $500.
There we go.
It's an interchangeable lens. Now we can talk about this. This is interchangeable lens camcorder. So I can swap out my lenses. It runs on Sony lenses. So I took the lens off, has a little sensor right there. I can slap different lenses on it and everything. And the sensor is pretty much the same sensor as some of the older Sonys. I can plug it in and it runs forever. I never have to worry about it overheating. I can get the depth of field and all the other fancy pants stuff that you get with more expensive cameras, but it's in a camcorder body. It's meant to run all day.
Yep.
As long as I got memory, it records.
Joe Rogan runs off. I mean, they're higher end, but they're camcorders.
Yeah.
They're not DSLRs. They're not the $5,000 DSLRs that people, are shooting cinematic videos with. And he's the number one podcaster in the world.
Well, that's I think because maybe this could be okay. We'll make this the next episode. Turn to next week. We'll talk about how cheap cameras are getting the job done. How you don't need a $5,000 camera. If that's what you want to, if you want to learn, I'll have some recommendations for gear. But we're going to talk about how cheap cameras are getting the job done, because you don't need the $3,500 or $5,000 camera. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. $3,500 is cheap for a camera. It's cheap for an actual production camera that you use. That's cheap.
Right. And that's not including, the $1,000 to $2,000 glass that you got to add to it. That's just that's just a camera.
Yeah, that's just the body. But the movies you'll see some of them starting to get more in that prosumer range of $3,500 cameras. Those are considered disposable on a movie set. Those are cameras that they consider that you can just throw them away. If you watch any NFL game, the end zone camera is typically somebody with a DSLR on, not a DSLR, a mirrorless camera on a gimbal. And that's how they get that specific look. Those cameras are considered disposable at $3,500.
Yeah.
If you don't have that budget to be able to say this camera is disposable and it only cost me $3,500, so whatever, it could fall off this car and get run over in the street, I'm fine with that. If you don't have that kind of budget, then you need to tune in next week, because we'll talk about cheaper cameras that you can be using to get things rolling. And it's not just your phone. Like you can decide you want to use your phone. That's cool and everything, but we'll talk webcams. We'll talk small cameras and things along those lines. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Brian, do you have anything else?
Nope. I'll just say one more time that join the Foundry, guys. And I'm not going to sell you features here. I'm going to sell you the relief. And that relief is that you may not have the budget, but you need the help that we can provide. Right? One tip, one training, one course, one suggestion from me, from Brian, from the community can change your business. And that's just the reality of it. That's not me selling features or selling sizzle. I am confident that is a reality for people.
The most I've learned as a business owner is being in the room with, I learned the most from being in the room with other business owners and being in direct contact with them. That's where you really learn the game. And that's what the Foundry is. It's a place where you can actually come learn the business and marketing side and make your life easier. The transformation you get is you get to skip years and years of aggravation and years of doing the wrong thing, because everybody in that room can tell you what to do and what not to do, and things that work for them and things that didn't work for them. And 100%. You have a resource of all that knowledge collectively. So join the Foundry. QR code's up in the corner. Go ahead and scan it and jump on in. We'll see you in there. I'm going to and sign off here, Brian. So thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about cameras.
Appreciate you, everybody.
Talk to you later. Peace.
See you.